What's up, guys? Steve the Audio Guy here. Thanks for coming back to the channel, and as always, please hit the subscribe button. Today we're going to talk about DMX, and I'm going to show you an application you can download from the internet for free. It runs on Mac, Linux, Windows. It even runs on a Raspberry Pi, which is how I run it. You can create custom lighting profiles. You can create a custom virtual console as a graphical user interface. You can create buttons, rotary dials, sliders, and you can assign those controls to whatever scene or look that you would like. It's a really powerful tool. If you guys have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear from some of you, and if you have any ideas on videos you'd like to see, please request them, because I'd be more than happy to do videos on topics you guys want to hear about. So with that, here's QLC Plus. Enjoy. Okay, what's up, everybody? We are talking about DMX and running DMX to all your lighting fixtures to run your light show. And this can be done a number of ways. In the old days, it was done using a dedicated controller. And today we have the luxury of running network protocols to send lighting commands over the network to a box that will decode and turn those network commands into DMX. And there's several products on the market today that do this sort of task, coupled with a software controller like this one, QLite Controller Plus or QLC Plus. You can have a cost-effective, powerful solution to control a great deal of fixtures, in a club, or maybe on a tour, or maybe on a install, something like that. So it's really a good solution if you're looking to control some lights, but maybe not have a dedicated Grand MA, which is really expensive, or Hog console, or some other type of hardware console. There's lots of software solutions. So today, I'm just going to show you this one and give you an example to go off of, and hopefully, it gives you some insight to how lights are programmed and how they're set up in the software. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is QLC Plus or QLite Controller, and you can go to their website, qlcplus.org. And they have on their downloads page a bunch of links you can go to, or I should say downloads for each OS flavor. They even have a beta release, which I probably wouldn't recommend. You probably want to go with the latest stable release. The other cool thing about this is they have a port for Raspberry Pi, and so you can, I think, donate to them and get a pre-built copy of the QLC Plus build for the Raspberry Pi. Or you can go and build it yourself from the source code. They have documentation on that as well. So if you're Linux savvy and you're command line savvy and you understand source code compilation, you can go ahead and do that. And that's what I've done for my band. We run a Raspberry Pi 4 with 8 gigs of RAM, and QLC Plus runs like a charm on the Raspberry Pi. Okay, the other thing that you'll need when running QLC Plus is you need some way to interface to the computer, right? And the best solution I found is to do that over the network. And I went ahead and purchased one of these, an eDMX1 Pro, which is a compact and robust single universe Ethernet DMX12 node, and I'm reading that here off their website. Basically, what you do is you can control a single universe off of the network from this box, and it has an Ethernet jack on it, a USB jack for firmware updates, and to power the device. And on the other side, you can get this in 2 flavors, a 3-pin or a 5-pin XLR version. I have the 3-pin version. And you know, DMX King has other products that are more capable or less capable. For instance, here's a box with four ports on it. So if you want to spend a little bit more money, my guess is you probably get more bang for your buck by going up and getting larger devices. And it also depends on how many fixtures you need to control. For the example today, I'm going to use this light as its example, and you can get these moving headlights off of Amazon for $100. It's just a Chinese cheap little moving head. They're very small. If you want to see, it's 8.6 inches by 6.3 inches. Very small little fixture with a DMX in and out when power. There's no switch on here, but that's okay because you don't really need it. Some people prefer switches, but I'm okay without it. On the front here, there's a little LED display, which is your user interface with some buttons. There's a mic if you want to use sound activated mode, but that's not the goal of this video. We are going to hook it up to DMX and program it. Okay, so what we are going to talk about real quick is the topology of this little system or demo that I have set up right behind me. And it consists of the two lights running off 120 volts AC. I have a DMX cable between the two of them, and then another DMX cable from the first light to the eDMX1 Pro box. And then from that box, I have an Ethernet cable to a network router or switch. In my case, I'm not actually using a network router. I just have a switch because I'm putting it on my local area network at my house. And then from that switch, we have a Cat5 going to the computer that I'm using to run QLC Plus. And so, reversing that topology from the computer, commands will be sent over the network to the DMX King box, and then they will be converted to true DMX, and then hit the lights. Let's talk about the addresses. So the address that I have picked for this first fixture is 91, and the next address is 106. These lights have two modes. They have a 15 channel mode and a 21 channel mode. I'm running these in 15 channel mode. So what that means is that when you start the DMX address at a certain value, such as 91, the next fixture or DMX address available will be 15 addresses away. So this first light at DMX channel 91 will take 15 more channels. The next available address is 106, which is why this guy is at 106. We are running in 15 channel mode instead of 21 channel mode, and you'll see what that looks like in QLC Plus. Okay, so what I have here is I have a fixture that I have created based on the little user's manual that comes with the Amazon light that I showed you earlier. And basically the first tab that you have here to create a profile for the light is in a general tab, and you dictate the type of fixture it is. In this case, it's a moving head. I've put myself as the author. The model is a beam wash mover. You can put whatever you want unless the fixture actually has a model or the manufacturer specifies it. Manufacturer, I just put Steve the audio guy. This is a generic Chinese fixture. There's no real manufacturer. I mean, there is in reality, but they don't advertise their name. I think it's like World Light or something ridiculous. Physical, you can kind of go in and put some things in here. For instance, there's an LED type, the lumens, if you know how bright it is, the color temperature, type, fixed. This is a moving head, so I'll put head. The pan and tilt max degree information was on the user's manual, so that's what I put in there. Columns and rows, I don't really know if that's for some kind of panel light. That might be for some type of panel light, but I just left it as 1-to-1. Power consumption is 100 watts. That was given to me on the manual. DMX connectors 3-pin. And all this isn't necessary to create the profile and control the light. This is just extra information I think QLC Plus uses to show a complete visual of the light in the software, so that if you have somebody, poking through all your fixtures in QLC Plus, they can tell like, oh, hey, I've never heard of that fixture. It's 100-watt power consumption. It's an LED light, so they can understand some information about the light before they go ahead and patch it and use it in their show. Channels. This is where we get into the meat and potatoes, if you will. This is from the user's manual. It will dictate all of the channels. So the user's manual said that channel 1 of this light is pan, and that goes from 0 to 255. Tilt is 0 to 255 is the second channel, third channel, fourth channel, fifth channel, sixth channel, red, green, blue, white, and then we have our red beam, our green beam. And so if you needed to add a channel in here, let's say you were using the 21 mode configuration, you can hit this plus button. QLC Plus gives you the option to add a custom channel, or you can pick from one of the already defined parameters, right? So if I hit green 0 to 255, green intensity, I can do that, or I can go to a custom setting and say, hey, is this a maintenance thing? Is this nothing? Pan, prism, etc. If I do a custom, I can also split the DMX values up to whatever I need them to be. So for instance, I did a custom maintenance parameter. So 0 to 249 had nothing there as far as the light, and then from 250 to 255 was a reset function. And so I could drop this down, and then I could say maintenance, and that would be my custom parameter right there, and I could hit OK. I've already gone ahead and done this. So right here you can see this maintenance reset from 250 to 255 is a reset, and from 0 to 249 DMX values, these are nothing. Don't get values confused with DMX address. The address is where the DMX address starts with the light, and the different values or the different channels can have a value of 0 to 255. Okay, so this is one mode. We have to create a mode. So I've gone ahead and created the 15 channel mode, which includes all 15 channels that we've already defined. I could go ahead and create a 21 channel mode and start pulling in, what channels this mode actually incorporates. I could do that, but I'm not going to. We're going to stick with the 15 channel mode and leave it at that. So that is how you create a fixture profile in QLC Plus. And the next thing we're going to look at is how to actually use the fixture profile in a project, workspace, or show, if you will. Okay, so now that we've got our fixture defined, what we can do is we can go into the QLC Plus controller portion of the program, and I'm going to hit that, and it's going to bring up a window with a whole bunch of stuff on it. Let me drag this over here. And what we see here is we see the ability to add fixtures to this workspace or show, however you want to look at it. It gives us the ability to define functions on the function tab down here through scenes, chases, sequences, collections, effects. It gives us the ability to do a timeline trigger where we can trigger different scenes, effects, sequences, etc. through a timeline. We have a virtual console where we can actually create buttons and sliders and things, and rotary encoders to actually control the functionality of our fixtures or to run our show. There's the simple desk, which is going to be a full layout of all the DMX channels for our show. Nothing is here yet because we don't have any fixtures in place. And then our I/O. This is going to show us what's connected to our computer. either USB DMX or E131 device. I have one connected, but it is not powered on yet. So I'm going to go power the lights on because I think we're about ready to show some devices moving. Okay, I've gone and powered up the lights and the eDMX Pro box, which should be this E1.31 device here. And you can notice this is universe 1, 2, 3, and 4. And right now we're just using universe 1, so we'll have 512 channels of DMX on this first universe, which is more than plenty to control these two lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a show or workspace or show that I've already worked on. Let's see if I can find it here. I think it's on the desktop, because that way that'll just make the video a little bit quicker and more concise. So here I have my fixtures, my beam wash 1, my beam wash 2. There they are at 91 and 106. If I wanted to add another fixture, I could just come in here and say, oh, it's not showing you. I got to drag it over again. It's saying, hey, do you want to add another fixture? I could pick this fixture. I could say we want to start that at address 1. We only want to add one more. What channel mode? 15. Here's the beam wash. We hit OK. And there it is. From address 1 to 15, that's going to be our mini beam wash. And I just wanted to go ahead and show you how to add a fixture, so we can take that away. And we're left with these two guys. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to go into our functions. And here I've already added a scene. Here's a blank scene. And what you do is you basically, I'm going to duplicate, well, no, I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to add another scene so you guys can see how it's done. So this scene is going to be my test scene. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I am going to add both of my wash lights to this scene. And once I add them to the scene, I can come over and I can look at mini beam wash number 1, and I have to enable all the DMX channels that I would like to use for the scene. So I'm just going to enable all of them. And then I'm going to copy this fixture and I'm going to paste it to the next fixture so I don't have to enable all those channels. And if everything is good, we should have control of these lights. And I'm sure you can see that moving. We have control of that light. And then we have control of this light. Yeah, we got control of both lights now. We'll make sure the pan works here. That's beautiful. Okay, so the one thing I need to point out is that we needed to make sure that our DMX was patched, our inputs and outputs. And E131, this right here, this guy right here, is my eDMX, my DMX King box at 192.168.1.124 on my local network. And you can see how many packets it's sent. It's an open socket. Packets received is 0. So we're only using the output. And my guess is if we uncheck this box for input, we would probably still see movement. And we do. That's perfect because we're just sending packets. We're not receiving packets. Okay, so that is how you build a scene. I'm actually going to go and delete this scene because I don't really need it. Yep. And here's a scene that I built previously. And it's just a green, white scene. And then here's another one, red, blue scene with a bunch of flashing. And I'm actually going to go ahead and, yeah, we'll leave that alone. That's cool. That's going to flash. So here's the green, white scene. And all I did was I went in here and I said, okay, I want this light to be this color, white, right? And I can control each color of the light because we went and we already did, we already coupled the DMX channels to the fixture. And so I'm going to turn this guy around so you guys can see it in the camera. And then we also have our beam colors. So if you'll notice, the center of the fixture is now turning on with the different colors because those are our beam. That's our beam colors. And then I'm not sure if you're going to be able to pick this up on video, but this is the rotation of the beam. You can probably see some movement there. And then we can rotate the other direction and back the other direction, and so on and so forth. So that's that. Here's the wash, right? We got red, we got green, we got blue, so that's good. And so this one, what was this? This was a green-white scene. So the other one's green, so let's make this white. So this is going to be white. All right, so there's our two scenes. And then if we hit a blank scene, that is just a scene with the two fixtures and all the DMX channels are at 0. So that we can, if we wanted to make another scene, we could clone this. We could name it next scene, and we could go and program. We don't have to add the fixtures. We don't have to add the DMX channels of each fixture. It's already done for us. So that's why I always keep a blank scene in the top there. I'll go ahead and delete that because I don't need it. The other thing I wanted to show you guys is an effect. This is effects. There's certain effects that we can implement. And so I'm going to leave this one alone, and I'm just going to clone it to do a test effects. And I don't know why I can't spell today. But here, the movement, we can pick the movement, right? We can do a circle, we can do a figure 8, we can do a line if we want to, we can do a square if we need to, leaf, there's a leaf, there's a really crazy pattern, I can't even pronounce it. I think it's a lighting thing. So you can create some cool effects with this. The other thing you can do with this is you can speed it up and slow it down. And I don't think this came into the window. There we go. Now we're in the window. You can speed it up and slow it down. So we're going to do 5 seconds. And now all of a sudden those movements are becoming quicker. And then we can slow it down to say 20 seconds where they're going a lot slower, a lot smoother. So let's go back to this circle. Let's get rid of that test effects. We don't really need that. Here's our circle effect. I'll just play this so you guys can see what it looks like. So this is our circle effect that we're going to do. And then the other thing to do movement and color, QLC Plus has this idea of collections. And the collections button's right here. If we wanted to make a new collection, I just hit that. And I'm going to delete it real quick. And then you could come in here and you can pick what scenes you want to play. Like I picked the green and white scene, which is already there, and I hit OK. And then I came down and I said, I also want a circle scene in there. You hit OK. And then you need to make sure that whatever color scene is in there, that it is at the top. For some reason, QLC Plus will not play an effect before the color. It needs to set the color and then do the motion. So if we put all this together, this is what we have. So you can see the color has started and the movement has started. And if you were looking at programming a show, you could create some pretty cool effects with this collection idea. All right, so in the next section, I'm going to show you guys the virtual console. Okay, here we are again in the virtual console now, which is 2 tabs over from the functions. And so now that we've got our functions program, what we can do is we can program buttons and sliders to do some cool stuff. So what we can do is we can actually add more buttons here, as many buttons as we want. We can add, 1, 2, 3. There's a bunch of buttons to do whatever our little heart desires. So that's great. And what I can do is then I can also delete those buttons, right? You can delete them. Yes. Delete, yes. And then this red box here, this guy right here, is known as a solo frame. And what a solo frame does, it only allows one item to be running at one time. And the nice thing about this is that's exactly how we want to run our buttons, because when I hit this button, I want the green white dynamic collection to run, and when I hit this button, I want the red blue dynamic collection to run. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So here's the green white, and then if I want to move to the blue red, there's my blue red with a strobe. And back to the green white. Perfect. That's great. So how does that work? Well, let's go back to design mode. Basically what you do is when you create an object or a button in this case, you right click and you go widget properties, and here you can actually assign whatever collection, effect, scene, chase, doesn't matter, to that actual button and to trigger it. And all of the items that you can trigger are right here, which is really cool. There is a video and an audio. It's got me curious. I wonder if QLC Plus can trigger video. That's something that I need to look into. That would be really amazing. You can create different things. Pretty cool. All right. That was QLC Plus. Hope you guys enjoyed.